Welcome back. This week in CS50x, we explored the fundamentals of how computers communicate over the internet and the basics of web technologies. Let's begin with TCP and IP, which are the building blocks of the internet. IP, short for Internet Protocol, assigns every device a unique address, much like a home address for your computer. In version 4 of IP, known as IPv4, that address looks like four numbers separated by dots. For example, 192.168.1.1. You can think of this like the street address of a house that allows other devices to find you. TCP, or Transmission Control Protocol, makes sure the data actually gets delivered by breaking it into packets, checking for errors, and resending anything that is missing. Together, TCP and IP ensure that not only do we know where to send information, but also that it arrives safely and in the right order. When we combine an IP address with a port number, such as port 80 for HTTP or port 443 for HTTPs, we can target a specific service on that device, just like dialing an extension number at an office. Next, we looked at DNS, the domain name system. Since IP addresses are difficult to memorize, DNS works like a giant phone book that translates easy names like www.harvard.edu into the actual numeric IP address. This means we can type words instead of numbers when we want to visit a website. To make this process automatic, computers use DHCP, the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, to quickly find the nearest DNS server and configure themselves. Before DHCP existed, people had to set these details by hand, which was both tedious and error-prone. After that, we studied HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the language browsers and servers use to talk. For example, when you visit a website, your browser might send a request like get/http/to host www.harvard.edu. The server then replies with something like http://200 OK. That number in the response is a status code that tells us what happened. A code of 200 means success, while 404 means the page was not found, and other numbers indicate different situations. HTTPS is simply the secure version of HTTP, where all the communication is encrypted to protect against eavesdropping, which is why almost every site today uses it. We also broke down the structure of a URL. Take, for example, https://www.example.com. In this case, HTTPS is the protocol that tells the browser how to connect. www is the hostname, example.com is the domain name, and .com is the top-level domain. Each piece of the URL has a specific role in guiding the request to the right place. Finally, we touched on the basics of building websites with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, provides the structure of a web page using tags and attributes. CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets, is used to add design and style, such as colors, fonts, and layouts. We can apply styles using type selectors, IDs, classes, or attributes, and frameworks like Bootstrap help us move faster by providing ready-made styles. JavaScript adds interactivity to the page, letting us respond to user actions like clicks, dynamically change elements, or even access features such as geolocation to find the user's position. As part of this week's problem set, we also worked on the homepage project, where we built a simple personal website using the tools we just learned. The assignment gave us a chance to practice structuring content with HTML, styling it with CSS, and adding optional interactivity with JavaScript. It was also an opportunity to express creativity by showcasing who we are as students, whether through our interests, goals, or hobbies, while demonstrating that we can organize and publish a functional, user-friendly site from scratch. The key takeaway is that this week gave us a foundation for understanding how devices communicate across the internet, how browsers request and receive data, and how websites are built with structure, design, and interactivity. That's it for week 8 of CS50x. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.